And we are live. Welcome back for another stream, everyone. How's everyone doing today? Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. It's a deadline stream, and it is Gameweek 13. Hope everyone's well. Thank you so much for being here. Unbelievable turnout. We've got 310 people here already. We've got Abir, Adib, Adrian, Aya, Bradley, Brian, Bungle, Cheekster, Concept, Diamond, Einar, FPL Captain, Haydar, Ibrahim, Ilyas, Isaac, Jaden, James, Jeff, Kazar, Chimera, Crew, Liam, Lighthearted Former, Leon, Ndivo, Mikel, Miral, Noctambuli, Nova, R2K, Raven. I shouldn't have done this. This is getting a bit out of hand now. I can't really read these anymore. Rito, Ryan Harris, Ryan Ngende, Sammy, Shane, Sherrup, Simbak, Spaz, Sujit, Tarek, Tony, Toyong, Vanj, Vaccine, Will Bateman, and Yo. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. I really appreciate you tuning in for this deadline stream. What a turnout. I have made 2 moves, as you can see. This is my team on screen. 2 moves have been made. I was going to do them live on the stream, but it was a potential 0.2 swing, so I made the moves last night. The moves I've made are Foden's left the team and replacing him with Diogo Jota. And the other move was, of course, Chilwell has left the team. And replacing Chilwell is Alonso. So that's the team. This is how we're lining up for Gameweek 13. Yeah, I was kind of forced into the Alonso move, of course, at the back of the Chilwell injury. And Foden, I'm not sure. We'll talk about what Pep said in a second. I'm not sure whether Foden starts this one or not, so I've made the switch. I also wanted to do a massive thank you to the latest YouTube members. We've got a few. We've got Max Simmons, Alexander, Dave, Rajaspal, Amir Galal. I think Amir is in the chat. Amir, are you still here? Eric Bjornsson and KKGM. They're the newest YouTube members. So if anyone wants to become a YouTube member, you get early access to videos, and there's a private channel on the Discord where I'll rate your team, etc. James Rice says, why no Foden? I'll explain why now. Maybe we should start with the news roundup and then I can discuss why. We'll start with Leeds though. And the Leeds news from Bielsa is that Shackleton's available. Rafinha is available. Good news for Rafinha owners. Rodrigo is also available. In a way, that's good news for Rafinha owners as well. Although Gelhardt did do quite well. Luke Ayling's healthy and probably play for the under-23s. And Bamford is finishing his recovery. So the big talking point is Foden, because I've sold him for Jota, rightly or wrongly. But Pep Guardiola, this is what he said on Foden and Grealish's fitness. He says, they're training individually, they're training much better. Phil Foden, much better. Not today because it's a day off. And I think there was another quote where he kind of indicated that he hopes they'll be back with the group soon. So that quote, along with him saying they're training individually, worries me a little bit. You know, it's Pep, so we don't really know, but it just, I don't know. I read that and I thought maybe Foden doesn't start this game. He wasn't even in the squad in the Champions League midweek, so you know, I don't know. I think Jota does play, so I think there's a bit of upside there. And of course, Firmino's out, so Jota's minutes are quite assured. While that remains the case. Watford news, and Ismaila Sarr will miss the trip to Leicester City. Of course, it's Ranieri in charge of Watford now. He was once in charge of a certain Leicester City when they won the league. So that's going to be an interesting game. We're looking forward to that one. Oh, this is a hilarious quote from Conte. This isn't really FPL news, but I thought I'd include this because this was after Spurs lost in the Europa Conference League. He said, after 3 weeks, I'm starting to understand the situation. It's not simple. At this moment, the level at Tottenham is not so high. Absolutely brutal from Conte there. And finally, a couple of quotes on Chelsea. So Tuchel's confirmed that Kai Havertz is fit to feature for Chelsea against Man United. I don't know if anyone in the chat still has Havertz. He's been a bit of a disappointment. He looked like he could be a great pickup while Lukaku was out, but it hasn't transpired. And of course, the big news from this week is Chilwell's set to miss at least the rest of the year with suspected ACL damage in his knee. So what's going to happen is they're going to wait till around the end of the year, 6 weeks or so, and then they're going to make a decision whether Chilwell has surgery or not, depending on how his recovery is looking. So he could be out for even longer. Hence, Alonso, I think, is a very, very good pick. Anyway, Thank you so much everyone for tuning in. If you are enjoying the stream so far, do hit like and of course subscribe to the channel if you're not already. I do multiple streams, tend to do one every game week, and then during the week I upload a captains video, a team selection video, a roundup video, and then I do a video on the top 100 all-time FPL managers where we get them on for interviews and that sort of thing. Ahmed says Tony on Mopai. Tony. Yelin says Chilwell to whom? So I think in order of players you should have as replacements, I would say Trent Alexander-Arnold, Reece James, Cancelo and Alonso. I think that's the that would be in order if I was to pick the replacements. Wuchi, how you doing? Good to see another YouTube member in the chat. Wuchi says, what's your beverage of choice? Today I am sipping on a nice cup of tea here. I don't know if you can see him, but I've got Teddy here as well. The perfect stream companion. So thank you as well, Teddy, for joining me for the stream. Narish says start Antonio or Duffy. Probably Duffy. Jallo says Reguilon or Alonso. Alonso. Ben says love the animations, Oscar. Thank you, Ben. Appreciate that. Maybe I'll show off some more animations then. Let's go on to the scout selection for Gameweek 13, which is as follows. I'll just read it out in case we've got any audio listeners. But it's Ramsdale in goal, Alexander-Arnold, Cancelo, James in defence, the big three. Salah captain, Bernardo Silva, Jota, Gallagher, Smith Rowe, 5-man midfield. And up front it's Kane and Josh King. What do we think of the scout team? It's not a very differential team this week. They normally sprinkle in, the odd differential here and there. I suppose Josh King could be. But it's a pretty template team, isn't it, for this week? Bernard says, triple captain Salah. I've had this question a few times, and it's a definite no from me, for a couple of reasons. The first is that you're better off using it in a double game week because your triple captain potentially plays twice. But the other reason is Salah's such an obvious pick this week that the upside's less, if that makes sense. Imagine if there was a 50-50 split between two captain options. Then it's much higher upside. But this game week, Salah's going to be pushing 200% effective ownership because everyone's going Salah. Or are they? Anyone not going Salah? If anyone's not voted on the captain poll, make sure you do that as well. A link to the captain poll, a link to the Discord's in the description, which has the captain poll. Quick look at the Kings of the game week, and this is how it looks after Game Week 12. It was Tyrone Mings that joined the Kings with his 15-pointer in Game Week 12. Those who are on our Discord will know that we've got a little game on there where you pick the player that you think is going to be the king of the game week. And if you get it right, you get a little prize, you get a little coloured username to boast across the server. But yeah, we've had Reece James twice already. Who do you think it'll be this game week? Who's the top scorer for Game Week 13? We've not had Salah yet. Maybe this is Salah's week. Home against Southampton. Last season, of course, Southampton caused a huge upset. Beating, did they win? I think they won against Liverpool, or it was 0-0. And I remember after the game, Hassan Hutter was in tears and very emotional, and then Southampton went on a horrendous run after that. Oh, Jan says, Dennis or Duffy? Dennis. Okay, I have a question for chat. How many of the most transferred in players can you name for Game Week 13? Most transferred in first. How many of them can you name? You might be able to guess the most transferred in player. To give you a huge clue, people are going to be selling Chilwell, so who's the most transferred in players? So Cizoa asks the big question. He says, do I take a -4 to get rid of Foden for Jota? And I've been thinking about how to answer this one because it's not an easy one to answer. And really it comes down to if Foden plays or not, and we don't really know. Pep's comments weren't, they didn't really say either way. Maybe Pep doesn't even know, maybe they're going to do a late test. And my answer is, if Foden doesn't play, then yes, it's worth the -4, but that's what you're gambling on. I personally made the move because I think Jota plays, and you look at the next 5 Liverpool have got: Southampton, Everton, Wolves, Villa and Newcastle. Good run of games, 3 of them are at home. So I think also Jota gets more minutes than Foden, so that's why I made the switch. A lot of guesses for James, Gallagher, Cancelo, Alonso. Most transferred in player heading into game week 13 is of course Reece James. 750,000 managers have picked up Reece James. Second place was Gallagher, 500,000 or so have picked him up. Likewise Trent, 500,000. Looks like James and Trent are the Chilwell replacements for those that have been selling him. Cancelo's also there, just shy of 400,000 have brought him in. Jimenez has been transferred in by 340,000. Bernardo Silva, interestingly, maybe some people have gone for Bernardo Silva. Did I miss a donation in the chat earlier? I'm so sorry if I did. How do I go back and check them? I just saw one pop up now and it made me suddenly think, did I miss one earlier? Who was the one just now? It was CFC Family says Jota in for Rafinha, Foden or Mbumo. I would go Foden between those. Oh, we've got Adam in the chat. Shout out to Adam. He's been a moderator since I had about 100 subscribers. Massive shout out to Adam, actually. I never mentioned him, but when I did my very first ever stream, it was literally just me talking to Adam for 2 hours straight. So thank you, Adam. Duffy to Alonso worth -4. Not this week, I don't think. I think you could get away with waiting a week. You know, Duffy plays at home against Leeds. There's clean sheet potential there. And then in game week 14, Alonso plays Watford. Very good game. A lot of Duffy to Alonso for -4 questions. Hopefully that helps answer that. Spotted Adam. Tony or Rudiger? That's an interesting one. Is that who to start? Probably Tony. Just about. Mook says, is it worth having Ronaldo on? What, starting him or how picking him up? I'd say this isn't the week to get him. I would say very soon it could be a good time to get him because Man United's fixtures turn very favourably, but I don't think this is the game week to transfer Ronaldo in. Aid says, what were your transfers? So I got rid of Foden for Jota and I got rid of Chilwell for Alonso. I had 2 transfers banked, so no hits, fortunately. And barring any injuries or upsets, I should be set up for Game Week 14 as well. Could potentially roll a transfer then. I could start Armstrong and Antonio and bench Tony, perhaps. We'll see. That's a good cup of tea. That's what I need when I get up this early. I'm not much of a morning person, by the way, but I'm doing my best here. Jack says, Vardy differential captain. Absolutely, he's a differential captain for sure, but you just have to appreciate that if Salah goes on to haul or outscore Vardy, then it's going to be very damaging for your rank, because I expect Salah's going to be very heavily captained again. No worries, CFC. Thank you for the donation again. Cajun says, start Hwang or Mbumo. That's a tough one. Probably Hwang. Salem says Jota or Bernardo. Jota. Cozy says Vardy or Dennis. Is this who to start or who to buy? You definitely start Vardy. I missed Wuchi's question. He says I'm keeping Mbumo for another week, banking the transfer. Hopefully finally scores one before I ship him. I hope so. Mbumo owner has been so unlucky. I think he's hit the post 7 times this season, which is the most in Europe. Anyway, back to the question. Can you guys name the most transferred out player heading into Game 13? The most transferred... Oh, I suppose you can. How many other most transferred out can you name? Bizway, thanks for the donation. He says, does Tierney start this week after Tavares debacle? I think he does, but it's hard to say for sure. I imagine he does if he's back at full fitness. Really hard to say for sure. Tierney is the better player. Tavares has done alright, but I'd say if I was to guess, I'd say Tierney plays. I think he's back to full fitness now and ready for selection, so I'd imagine so. It's a game we have to win. It's a winnable game. I think everyone's got it, so I'm going to cut straight to the chase. It was, of course, Chilwell, the most transferred out player. 750,000 managers have sold Chilwell off the back of his ACL injury, out for a minimum of 6 weeks. And of course, Marcos Alonso could emerge as a very, very good option to see us all through December, considering the lack of competition that he has. I would encourage everyone in chat to have Alonso at the back of your head if you haven't picked him up for this game week. It's not a bad game week to wait out and see. You know, they could concede against Man United. We'll see. But Watford in game week 14, very good fixture, and no one really competing for Alonso's spot. You know, maybe we could see Azpilicueta get minutes there, or maybe you know, maybe we'll see like Pulisic or Hudson-Odoi or something. Tanish says, what was it, Mbeumo or Gallagher? Gallagher. I prefer Gallagher. He's got a higher expected goal involvement for the season. You know, he looks very, very involved in the Palace attack. Looks a great pick this season. I'm tempted to bring him in myself for game week 14. And he scored more points as well. So he's an easy one, Gallagher. I like the Gallagher pick. Very, very quickly, we'll go through the bookies odds. Goalscorer odds first. Salah's top, 53% chance against Southampton at home. Run out of superlative to describe Salah, but we all know the form he's in this season. And he's topping just about all the attacking metrics. Aubameyang second, 46% chance against Newcastle. Did I miss another donation? I have to keep looking back now. Tiago says King James Jota for Antonio Duffy Havertz and a -4. Yeah, I quite like it actually. I quite like those moves. I have to warn everyone. James has been an incredible pick, but I do think there's a chance that he gets benched for 1 or 2 games in December. Maybe even the Watford game, but I think those are a good move in combination. Good set of moves. I think it's time to move Havertz on, absolutely. You could just do Havertz to Jota, but I suppose you're looking for a way to get James. Can you afford Havertz and can you afford Jota and Alonso, Thiago? If not, yeah, I'll do those 3 moves. Vardy has a 44.5% chance of scoring against Watford. Who else is up there? Mane's up there, Jota's up there. Good to see them up there, especially the likes of Jota. Great, great enabler pick. And the clean sheet odds, Liverpool and Man City joint top. Liverpool facing Southampton, Man City facing West Ham. Both given a 45% chance of a clean sheet according to the bookies. Chelsea, 43% chance against Man United. What do we reckon to that? Muzzy says, what are we thinking about Jota as a differential captain? Not sure about a captain in Jota. You know, he could certainly outscore Salah, but I think you're just looking for a differential for the sake of it there. I think Salah's the better pick. But yeah, Southampton and West Ham rock bottom, 8.5% chance of keeping a clean sheet. So we'll hope that those of us that have the City and Liverpool assets, they'll be involved. You know, Trent, Jota, Salah, Cancelo, Bernardo Silva, etc. And finally, courtesy of fplreview.com, the predicted points. Salah is top for that as well, 8.43 predicted points, followed by Mane, and then Son, interestingly. Son's got double-digit points in his last 3 appearances against Burnley. Interesting stat, that one, that I read. Alexander-Arnold is 4th on the predicted points. Again, shows what value he is, considering how much cheaper he is when you look at these prices in the cost column. And again, Alonso, look, 5.6, and yet he makes the top for predicted points. And this is what we want to look for. We want to look for value players to maximise the potential points that we can get in a game week. Thank you so much again, everyone, for tuning in so far. We'll have a look at the Captain Poll results in a minute. If you are enjoying the stream, do hit like. Yeah, the pressure's on. 2nd in the world heading into this game week. We'll see what happens after this game week. I think realistically it could be a red arrow. You know, I've got the one manager in front of me. Got 8.6 million managers behind me, so it's going to be about as tough as green arrows come. But I'm looking forward to the game week as always. John Alex says Foden to Jota. Yeah, I like the move. Obviously if Foden goes on to start, then it could be damaging, but I like the move. That's the move I made. If anyone tuned in late, I did Foden to Jota and Chilwell to Alonso. Iria Frenesi says, hope you do well. Appreciate that. Thank you very much for the donation. If anyone isn't in our Discord, a link to that is in the description. We'll have a look at the Captain Poll results right now. I'll put a link to the Discord in the chat. Genuinely good FPL resource, the Discord. We've got things like the price changes. Just going to put the link in the chat. There we go. We've got the price changes. We've got the lineups. Wow, it was a massacre last night. Who went down? Fernandes, Greenwood. Van Dijk went down last night. Havertz went down. Chilwell went down. James went up. Gallagher went up. Trent went up. Kane went up. This is Tony all over again. Kane's going up without actually doing anything. We've got the lineups. We've got the live scores. 5 games today. Can't wait. Got the live points. We've got the bonus points. Stats bot. So you can chuck in commands and you know, the bot will give you feedback or simulate games, whatever you want to do there. Gameweek stats. The injury updates. Top 10k stats. Insider trading. This one's great. This is the moves that Premier League players or staff make that concern the club that they're in. So sometimes you get leaks from here. We've got the news, new players, disaster class. We've got a good disaster class to show you in a minute. Deadline alerts and loads more. But we're here for the captain poll results. 407 votes for Salah. Wow. I think second is Trent with 23. It just goes to show again how heavily captain Salah is going to be this game week. 408 votes for Salah. Incredible. Third, I think, is Reece James with 7 votes. And then it's Son with 6. Vardy with 5. 4 votes for other. But yeah, it's as we suspected, really. It's going to be dominated by Salah again, the captaincy this game week. Anyone in chat not going captain Salah? Ben Draper says, opinion on Cornet. Yeah, admittedly, I've not watched that much Burnley, but I know he's doing very well. But I'm also conscious that he is outscoring his underlying data. I think he's I think he's got like 5 goals for the season, but he's outscored his expected goals by a huge margin, so it might not be sustainable. And therefore, I think a player like Gallagher is probably a better pick, or Jota, if you can reach to that much. Hopefully that helps, Ben. Vidor says, thoughts on Watkins? Not sure on Villa assets yet. Last season, Watkins was a great pick. Not sure yet. I think I'm going to reserve judgment on Watkins. I think for now, it's better to have players like Antonio, Tony, Jimenez. Bunny says, fplfocal, start Rafinha or Lamptey. Rafinha. Hema says, Joden to Jota, free transfer. Yeah, I like the move. It's a bit of a gamble that Foden doesn't play, but I like the move personally. It's the move that I made anyway. What else have we got for this stream? Loads packed in. We've got the Premier League players, virtual league. So this is a league created by fplbot.app, and it just follows all the Premier League players that play FPL. James Justin is up to first place, who, by the way, is an exceptional FPL manager, James Justin. Last season he got a top 10k. He's leapfrogged his teammate Chowdhury. Jacob Ramsey is about 845k. Harry Maguire is ranked 1.2 mil. He captained Foden last game week. Ouch! Didn't Foden get 1 point last game week? Maguire's had a nightmare there. Let's check that. Doesn't do himself any favours, Maguire, does he? He did. He captained Foden for his 1 pointer. Oh, Maguire, what have you done? Who else is doing well? Madison's 1.6 mil. They're not particularly great at FPL, are they? I mean, look at their overall ranks. I think a lot of them have just given up. Kenny McLean from Norwich is rock bottom. He's ranked 6.3 mil. No disrespect, by the way, if anyone in chat is ranked 6.3 mil. But that is a horrendous rank. I imagine at that rank you either started the game late or you just stopped playing though, right? So maybe it's not disrespectful. Ian says, start Antonio. It depends who in place for. I think, as we saw, City are joint top for clean sheet odds. So I think it's a lot to ask from Antonio. He could do damage. He wasn't in the Europa League squad, so he is rested. Maybe he could get something against City, but it depends who you can start instead. Bradley says, Trent captain. I don't hate the Trent captaincy. You know, this season, we'll look at Salah first. This season, Salah's got 6 double-digit returns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And Trent's actually got the second most. He's got 5, including 3 in his last 4 games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he's actually got a very high ceiling, and what you want to do in the captain is captain a player who's got a high ceiling. You want to captain a player who can get you double-digit points. You don't want to captain someone like Ramsdale who potentially gets you 6 or 7 points. You're looking for the high ceiling picks. Amir says, Salah's dominating FPL. What an honour for us Egyptians. Are you Egyptian? What's a shame, though, is that he's going to be most likely off from the African Cup of Nations. I mean, he almost certainly will be unless he gets called off because of this COVID variant that's breaking out in some African countries. But I don't know if that's going to be a thing. I've just made that up. But yeah, Salah's expected to miss several game weeks for the African Cup of Nations. Could be more than a few, depending on how far he advances. But it's not until very end of December, early January. So we've still got Salah for this run of games here. It could be around here, Leicester-Chelsea, where Salah potentially is off on the African Cup of Nations. And he could be away for several game weeks from there. Which is a shame in a way, because he's comfortably outscoring where he was by Gameweek 13 this season when he set the Premier League record. 303 points he got in his first Liverpool season, and he's way in front of where he was by then. In fact, we could probably work it out. So we're 12 game weeks in. What's that as a fraction of 38? My math's terrible here. 125 divided by that. So he's on course for a 395 point season, which just goes to show how ridiculous Salah's season is. 395 points if he was going to carry on in his current form. Of course, there will be a drop-off, and he could miss some games for the African Cup of Nations. But yeah, it'd be a shame, because I'd love to see if he can go on and break it. And I suppose he still could, even if he misses a few. Alright, we're about the halfway mark to the deadline. So I think we'll play a nice round of Who's That Player. We'll take a minute to take a breath. If anyone's not played before, you're going to see the cutout of a footballer, and you need to guess in the chat who is that player. We'll start off with a nice easy one. Guesses in the chat, who's that player? And while you guess in the chat, I'll do my best to answer a few questions. Danny says, is Rodrigo a good pick? No, I don't think so. Bamford's almost back from recovering, so I would say, does that make sense? Almost back from recovering? He's almost recovered, almost back from injury. So I would say, no, Rodrigo's not a good pick. Prakim says, oh, I missed it. Alonso guesses were flooding the chat. He says, your FPL content is the best, along with Dan. Kudos, Oscar. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, everyone got it. It was Alonso. He was the first one. All right, on to the next one. Who's that player? Is this one a bit easy again? Maybe some of these are a bit easy. I'll give you a harder one next. Guesses in the chat. Who's that player? Alex says, nice Pokemon graphics. Yeah, to be fair, I've actually not watched Pokemon or played it in a long time, but I just suddenly had the idea to make this a game for streams, and yeah, I always remember that back in the day Pokemon were like, who's that Pokemon? We've got Eze, we've got Alonso, Trent, Ake. Oh, this one might have stumped you actually. I did wonder if this one would trip a few of you. Seth got it. It's not Ake, it's not Eze. It's not Reece James. it's not Rooney. Good guess though. Could have been Rooney. Sam got it. The answer was El Neni from Arsenal. I thought I'd throw him in case he trips a few people up who think it might be like Salah or, you know, Eze or whatever. Okay, let's do another one. Who's that player? Haven't got much to go on with this one, have we? Mackenzie got it as well. Guesses in the chat, who's that player? Fred Jones says, what's your ranking, mate? At the moment, second. My rank's on the right hand side in the right pane, along with my points and total players and so on. Guesses in the chat, who's that player, everyone? Very little to go on in this one. The last one, I think, the last couple, the hair was the giveaway. Did I break chat? I think chat is still catching up. It's still on El Neni. What have I done? I don't know if you can still hear me. I think I've just broken my stream. What have I done? Hang on. Oh, are we back? Oh, there we go. Okay. The chat completely froze for me for a second. I think there was too many people chatting. You're all chatting too fast. It was Foster. That was the next one. Apologies if anyone got that. I missed all of the messages in the chat. We've got a couple more. Who's that player, everyone? Oh, did it happen to you as well, Lucas? Yeah, the chat completely broke for me. It was like really behind, and then Firefox had a pop-up that says the tab had crashed. Sampiaya says, is your captaincy locked? Yeah, it's locked. I'm going Captain Salah this game week. Who's that player? Ido got it. PTC Go got it. I think this game just breaks chat, doesn't it? Because there's so many guesses. What a nightmare. Maybe we shouldn't play this in the future. Or maybe we just try and break YouTube. It needs to be put to its test, doesn't it, YouTube? Who else got it? Someone said the ears give it away. Sabrisan got it, Drone got it, Copsy got it. The answer was Tarkovsky from Burnley. Alright, we'll play one more. Everyone guesses in the chat for this one if you know it. We're going to try and break YouTube chat again. Here we go. Last one. Who's that player? Outstanding hair on this gentleman. Last one. Guesses in the chat. Who's that player? See if we can break YouTube chat again. And then we'll get back to my team and the questions and the rest of the deadline stream. Sen guesses Cucurella. So does Chido. So does Mo. Isaac got it. Tony got it. Emrasi got it. The answer was, of course, Cucurella. Don't know if I'm saying his name right. Cucurella from Brighton. I thought I'd include him as well in case a few of you got tripped up with David Luiz or Hamza Chowdhury. Anyway, back to the second half of the deadline stream. We've got about 25 minutes to go. Get your questions in the chat. I'll do my best to answer as many as I can. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. If you are enjoying the stream, remember to hit like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. I think we did break chat. My chat is so far behind now, so I'm just going to let it catch up a second. But yes, this is my team for Gameweek 13. So the two moves I've made, if anyone missed it, is Foden to Jota and Chilwell to Alonso. Yeah, the Chilwell transfer made itself. Chilwell had to leave the team because he's out for a minimum of 6 weeks. And I think Alonso could be a very, very good pick for December and possibly beyond because he doesn't have the competition now. Excuse me. It's easy to forget as well how good Alonso was for the opening 6. You get 4 clean sheets, he scored once and he got an assist. So that's basically 6 returns in the opening 6 game weeks. And then of course Alonso came back in game week 7, lost his spot, didn't get back in. And now he's back in. And FPL is a game of recency bias. And yeah, so of course recently Alonso's been a terrible pick, and every game week when I've made those roundup videos we've seen Alonso on the most sold list. And he's been a complete non-option, but now he's an option again. So yeah, I definitely would encourage people to consider Alonso. It doesn't have to be this game week, could be the Watford game. But I think he could become a very good option. Lalal says, Cornet off Lucas Moura. If I had to pick, I probably honestly wouldn't pick either of them. I think I'd go for someone like Gallagher or Jota if he can stretch. I don't really like the Cornet or Lucas Moura picks right now. Amir says we need to check Foster's FPL team. Yeah, we do. Let's do that. Have we got Foster here? Foster. He's having a bit of a nightmare. He's ranked 2.6 mil. He got 40 points last game week. He had Salah captain. He's still got Diaz. Sorry, he's still got Greenwood. He's got Rafinha, he should come back in. I wonder what formation he plays. Or if Amati plays. 4-3-3 maybe. I think he might have given up on FPL. I did want to highlight one manager though. And pay our respects to. This is Ben Glazebrook. And he was the biggest disaster class of Game Week 12. In Game Week 11 he was ranked 8k in the world. At one point in Game Week 7 he was 182nd. In Game Week 12 he took a -4, including getting rid of Jimenez. He got 40 points, which was a red arrow from 8k to 70k. Huge red arrow. This is the stuff that keeps me up at night. If this happened to me in a game week, oh, that'd be horrendous. The pressure is on, as I say, second in the world. What do you guys think the chances are of a green arrow this game week? It's going to be incredibly hard, incredibly hard. At one point on Saturday night, I went to bed that night first in the world, but the guy who was first in the world now, he had Jimenez come off his bench as an auto sub, which was 8 points, so that notched him back to first. Khalil says, start Duffy or Rafinha. Probably Rafinha. Sebastian says, Pookie or Smith Rowe. Is that who to start or who to buy? Ideally, you want to start both of them. Probably Smith Rowe I'd start. Jacob reckons 1 in 10 chance of going first. Do you reckon 1 in 10? I reckon the odds are worse than that. It's going to be very tough. Ami reckons 1% chance. That sounds about more like it. If it happens, then at least you guys can say you were here for the deadline stream before it all happened. But yeah, it's going to be incredibly hard. And I'm going to take a realistic perspective from here. You know, my goal is not to win FPL. That would be a dream come true, of course, but you have to have so much luck on your side to finish first in the world. You know, skill or FPL ability can only take you so far. You know, there's a lot of variance in FPL, and people who have won it historically haven't been, you know, typically great FPL players. That sounds really hard, disrespectful actually. I don't mean it like that, but you know, the guy who won it last year, I think he'd finished first, finished top 100k like once before. A couple of seasons ago, I think it was Josh Ball who won it, and you know, historically he'd finished in the top 1 mil like once or twice, that sort of thing. Liv Arson says, Foden to Jota -4. This is a really popular question this game week, and it's hard to answer. And it really comes down to whether Foden plays or not. And based on Pep's comments, I'm a little bit wary that he does. He wasn't in the midweek Champions League squad that faced PSG. You know, and Pep said he was in individual training, and he said he hopes he'll be back soon. So those three things in combinations make me wonder if Foden actually starts this game, you know, or if he has a problem. And of course, Man City's Game Week 14 game, by the way, it's just 3 days later, so the fixtures are coming thick and fast. I don't know how the hell I'm going to find the time to do all the editing for the videos, because there's a lot of fixtures coming up, and it's great, by the way. I love all the football, but it's going to be a mad December. We're going to have random benchings, you know, players are going to get injured. It's going to be carnage. But I think I'd be very tempted to do the -4 to answer your question, and everyone else who's been asking that question. Game in Focus says, Vardy, Salah, Kane, captain. I think Salah's honestly the best pick, not just from an ownership perspective. You know, I'm not picking Salah because I'm worried about his ownership, but also because I think he's genuinely the best pick. Hema says, Liverpool match postponed. I've not heard anything of the sort. Can't see anything on the FPL subreddit either, so I don't think so. Obviously, there's a hell of a storm in some parts of the United Kingdom at the moment, and it has affected Liverpool and some other areas, but I don't believe they've been affected bad enough for a game to be postponed, and I've not heard anything of the sort, so I think we would have heard something by now. Faris says, who's the bench from Diaz and Buma and Antonio? Probably Antonio. Paul says, I've played my wildcard. Shall I change Reguilon or Alonso? What do you mean? Which one to sell? I think they're both good picks, but I think Alonso's a slightly better pick. Amir says, do you think Gellard will start again this week? I think Rodrigo's back, so I'd say probably not, in honesty. Based on Rodrigo being back, I imagine Rodrigo might lead the line. Maybe Gellard could play in behind, I don't know. I suppose James has been doing well, he'll start, Rafinha will start, so I suppose Harrison will start as well. So it could be those three and then Rodrigo up top, so maybe Gellard misses out. Chewy says, hey Oscar, who would be the best goalkeeper to replace Sarr with in Gameweek 15 or so? I can even afford Mendy. I don't think Mendy's a good option. He's too expensive this season. I think Sanchez or Ramsdale are good picks. Guaita's probably a good pick. Any of those three, can't really go wrong. I don't think there'll be a huge amount of points between the three of them, you know, by the time you arrive at your second wildcard. Hema says, got one free transfer, Foden to Jota. Yeah, I don't hate that move. I think that's a good move. I did Foden to Jota myself, so in a way I'll be hoping that Foden doesn't play, but we'll see. 15 minutes till the deadline, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. One thing I always forget to mention, so I'm going to make sure I do mention it this time, is that if you're not in the fplfocal mini league, it's not too late to join. I'll put a link in the chat now, and your points will start from game week 1, so it's not like you join and you're literally 13 game weeks into the season. You can join now and get involved in the mini league. Here we go. Shane says, start Duffy or Antonio. Probably Duffy. Mashadic says, Vardy or Tony or King. Is that who to start or who to bench or what? Vardy and Tony, I'd want to play both of them. King ideally as well. I wouldn't want to be bringing in Vardy, if that's who to transfer in. MDFM says differential captain. Differential captains, I would say, would be Trent. I think is a very feasible differential captain. 3 double-digit returns in his last 4 games. I think Vardy could be. I think those would probably be the 2 standouts. Son has got double-digit points in his last 3 appearances against Burnley, but he's in a bad patch of form, so I think that's a bit of a risky one. But don't pick differentials just for the sake of it. You know, that's something to bear in mind too. And we are heading into the very busy Christmas period where there's a lot of fixtures. So a good reminder or a good opportunity to remind chat to have at least a couple of options off your bench. I think you're okay having one non-playing option on your bench, but I don't think you want to go into any game weeks throughout December with a bench that's, you know, something like Brownhill, Norman, you know, and then Davis, the striker. I think that's too weak. I think you're going to need your benches, so we are going to have some unexpected rotations, so something to bear in mind. Hamza says Foden to Bernardo or Jota. I think Bernardo and Jota are both the obvious replacements. I think I prefer Jota, just barely. Is Philman in the chat? Is that the same Philman? It is. Philman, how you doing, mate? Good to see you. If anyone doesn't know Philman, he's a manager of an absolutely ridiculous FPL record. I interviewed him for the Top 100 Manager series, and I actually have to just bring Phil's record up because it's so ridiculous. This is Philman in the chat's FPL record. Look how many top 10Ks and top 1Ks he's got. He's never even finished outside the top 100k. Absolutely ridiculous FPL record. Absolutely ridiculous. And yeah, it was an honour to have him on for an interview for the Top 100 series. If anyone's not familiar with the series, I interview what basically follows the top 100 all-time FPL managers. And the criteria is you need 7 top 10Ks or 4 top 1Ks. And just barely 100 managers have ever done that. And that's what the series is. It follows those managers, their team selection, their transfers, etc. And each week I try and get one of them on for an interview. And Phil very recently did one. So it was great to get his insight, including the tips behind his success, because he knows what he's doing, and his advice was incredible. And he had quite a few pieces of advice that I'd not even heard before from other managers. So it's very interesting to get new perspectives each week. Philip, I can't read your question because it's set up to get this video demonetized. I'll rearrange it. So King, Huang, or Wood? I don't believe for a second you've got all three. I'm not even going to answer that one. Rolly says Antonio or Tony. If that's who to start, I'd say Tony, absolutely. Maybe Antonio can get something. A well-rested Antonio against Man City, but you know, as we saw, Man City top on the clean sheet odds, so it's going to be incredibly tough for West Ham to get anything there. But you know, we've seen this season they're capable of upsets. We never know. But I think Tonio would start over Antonio, and that's what I've done with my team here. 10 minutes till the deadline, everyone. Make sure you've got your captain and vice captaincy all sorted, bench in the right order. Khalil says, start Schmeichel or Sanchez this week. Who's got the high clean sheet odds? Just on that as well, it's not really good practice to spend so much on your goalkeepers, but Leicester are higher up on the clean sheet odds, 36% chance. So I think I'd probably start Schmeichel. But it's a lot to spend your goalkeepers. Really, you don't need to spend that much. Often what happens is the 4.5 mil keepers will get just as many points because they make more saves. And if they do keep clean sheets in those games they make saves, they end up getting bonus. So it often levels out. And you often end up at the end of the season with players like Sanchez and Ramsdale on par with the likes of, you know, Alisson, Ederson, Mendy and those players. So it'd be an easy way to free up some funds if you wanted to downgrade Schmeichel to a 4 mil keeper, for example. But it's a bit of a luxury transfer. You'd have to have 2 transfers really and nowhere else to use them. Stan Bennett's going captain Trent. Yeah, I mean, like I said, Trent's a genuine option, but I think Salah's the better pick. But you never know. Trent's in incredible form this season. Top among all defenders for expected goal involvement. Top for chances created. Oken, thanks for the donation. He says, start Diaz or Mbumo. Good luck on rank 1. Diaz or Mbumo? That's a tough one. I think, gun to my head, I would start Mbumo. What would you do, chat? I think I'd start Mbumo. I know he's been a very disappointing pick, and he's hit the post 7 times, which shows just how unlucky owners have been. But it's gambler's fallacy to say, oh, he'll hit the post and he's not going to score the next one either. It doesn't suddenly make him a terrible pick, and Everton at home's not a bad fixture either. And interestingly, since Wright got injured, the Brentford games have been very open games, so maybe he had a calmer presence in defence. And it's led to some high scoring games, so maybe we'll see more of the same. Jallo says, what's the fplfocal league link? It's in the description. If you scroll down to the description, there's a few useful links like the Discord, the Twitter, my TikTok. I've got a TikTok. I need to remember to update it more often than I do, but I do post on TikTok as well. And the league is down there below. And my email address, if you want to drop me an email. But don't drop me an email looking for team advice, because I probably won't be able to reply to that. And I have had a few of those. But thank you for the email, nonetheless. Anna says Captain James. Not sure about Captain James. I think it's a bit of a stretch. Obviously he'll start. No doubts about that. But I'm not sure about captaining him against Man United. Got less than 10 minutes to go until the deadline. Thank you again everyone that has tuned in so far. If you haven't enjoyed the stream, hit like on it. This is by far the highest turnout we've ever had for a stream, by the way. So thank you also for being a part of that. Absolutely incredible. In fact, just a few days ago, I was watching one of my earliest streams. And I was losing my mind because we had 10 viewers. Let me see if I can find it. I think this was it. Look, this is one of my earliest streams. I don't know if this will come through or not.
I'm alive. Absolutely ridiculous. Ash. I was just getting the stream ready, and I noticed there was already over 10 people in the chat, which is absolutely ridiculous. Ash, we got Ash Ketchum in the chat.
Yeah, that was one of my first ever streams. That was Gameweek 22 last season, and there was 10 people in the chat, and I couldn't believe it. So it goes without saying, thank you so much to the 750 plus that tuned in for this one. Oh, did I have it on a... What am I doing? Oh, there we go. I've got the wrong tab open. There we go. I thought I'd put it on the wrong bloody thing then. Anyway, Gallagher to start over Regulon. Ideally, you want to start both. You don't want to be benching Gallagher or Regulon. Start both if you can. Gun to my head, I'd probably start Gallagher. El Padrino in the chat. Good to see you, mate. The old days, he says. Yeah, he was... El Padrino tuned in to, I think, my first ever stream. So I do remember all the OGs, I have to say. But thank you so much to all the new Gs. Does that even make sense? No, it doesn't. There's Monkey Man. Monkey Man's in the chat. You said you were going to tune in, Monkey Man, and I was trying to spot you in chat. Bizwait, thanks for the donation. He says, gone for Huang and Alonso for a -4, hoping to recoup. Yeah, decent set of transfers. Alonso, I think, is a very good long-term pick, as we know. Potentially 6 weeks or more could be the season if Chilwell needs surgery. So I think Alonso is going to end up a very strong pick. Only 5.6, 8.5% owned. We know what a massive ceiling he has. Those that have played FPL for many years will know back in the days of 2018-19 and as early as 2016-17, those 3 seasons he was just incredible as an FPL asset. Look at his average points here. He must have been averaging about 165 points those 3 seasons. That's what he's capable of when he's getting consistent minutes. And in my opinion, he will get consistent minutes because Chilwell's out. He hasn't really got competition now. We could still see some kind of two-shell tinkering, two-shell tombola, whatever you want to call it. Maybe he'll start, you know, Azpilicueta or someone like Hudson-Odoi for the odd game, but he has to be pretty nailed. So I think Alonso is a very good pick, and of course Huang has Norwich, so yeah. Seems like a good set of moves. Saycat says, hey Oscar, who's winning Ballon d'Or? Who's winning Ballon d'Or? I think Lewandowski deserves it. But I wouldn't be surprised if Messi wins it. Is Ballon d'Or voted for by players? How does it work? Or is there like a judging panel? Because if it's done by players, you know, we could see Messi win it, you know. I think Lewandowski's had a better year, but... I think Lewandowski's had a better year, but maybe Messi wins it. I don't know, hard to say. Chat, who do you think wins the Ballon d'Or? Who does everyone think wins the Ballon d'Or? Good to see one goat recognising another goat. El Padrino calling out Monkey Man. Dan Lee says, Rafinha or Huang. Is that who to start or who to bring in? Because you don't want to bench either of them. You have to start both of them, in my opinion. But Rafinha would be my answer for who to bring in. But of course, he's got 3 game weeks, and then it's probably time to move him on. Something to be conscious of. The next 3 look good. He's got 2 home games here, 14 and 15. But then he's got Chelsea, City, Arsenal, Liverpool. Horrendous run of 4 games there. So he's an easy sell, game week 16. All mixed opinions in chat. So there's a lot of people that say Messi. Probably an equal amount that say Lewandowski. Angelo says Heskey. I hadn't thought about Heskey. I suppose he could win it. Anthony says Benzema. Benzema's been having a very, very good season this season. Yeah, that's a good point. Walter says 3 minutes to go. Yeah, we've got a bit off topic there. Thanks for the reminder, Walter. We do have 3 minutes left till the deadline. Final reminder to check your starting 11, check your captain and vice captaincy, bench in the right order. I think it's good practice to captain players from 2 different fixtures, just in case of some really unexpected postponement. I think it's safe to say there isn't going to be any postponements because of the weather, although that was being discussed on Twitter and Reddit somewhat, because there is bad weather in Liverpool. But, you know, say on the off chance that Liverpool games gets postponed and you've got Salah captain, Trent vice, that's it, you're getting nothing, no captain points. So, yeah, it's good practice to captain 2 different fixtures. I remember last season, I think it was Liverpool v Man United got postponed, and there was quite a lot of people that had Salah captain Bruno Weiss. Good example there. Kennedy says pin the code. Alright, let's do that. We'll pin the code just before the deadline hits. Code. Boom. Does that work? Pin. There you go. That's pinned. Consider it pinned. Akinola says start Antonio or Huang. John says start Rafinha or Mount. Rafinha. Gabby says Huang or Maximan. If that's who to start, Huang. If that's who to bring in, Maximan. But I'd wait till next week, not this week probably. So just to summarise, I've made 2 transfers. I sold Foden for José and I sold Chilwell for Alonso. I had 2 transfers, so no hit required. And this is how I'm lining up for Game Week 13. I did schedule a tweet and scheduled a post on my channel to share this lineup in case anyone wasn't tuned into the deadline stream. But for those of you that have tuned in, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Unbelievable turnout today. Devesh says start Dennis or injured Foden. Masadik says Reguilon to start. Yeah, I'd start him, and he will start for Spurs, certainly. It was Sessegnon who started in left wing back, I believe, in the Europa Conference League game, and he got a red card, so I'm sure he's in Conte's bad books right now, as Spurs went on to lose that game. Natalie says, do you think Mane's a good option? He's a good option, but I think Jota's just about equally as good and about half the price. So I think Jota. And if you're referring to captaincy, then yeah, he's a good option, good differential. But again, I think Salah's the better pick. Sebastian says Pookie or Reguilon to start. Pookie. Caleb says locked in. That's it. Raj says deadline done. That is it. That is the deadline on the dot right now. We made it. We've got exactly 666 watching right now. Is that a good omen or a bad omen? Thank you again so much everyone for tuning in. Don't forget to like the stream before you go, and of course subscribe to the channel if you're not. There'll be a video out tomorrow where we'll be looking at the top 100 all-time FPL managers teams. This game week it is FPL Salah, aka Abdul Rahman. Some of you might know him on Twitter. He's got an incredible record. I think he's got it's either 4 top 1Ks or 7 top 10Ks, and he is on this week's episode for the interview. He's sent me his answers, so he sent me some great answers, and I'll be editing that today, and that'll be out tomorrow. And because we've got a tight turnaround, Monday will be my team selection video, a couple of days ahead of schedule. And I hope to do a roundup video on Tuesday as well, which is the deadline, Tuesday deadline. But I don't think I have anything more to say really. If anyone's not in the Discord, a final reminder to join the Discord. I'll spam it in the chat one last time. I'll be on the Discord throughout this game week, so I hope to see you all on there. Really looking forward to Game Week 13. And I will see you all on the Discord, no doubt, or on Twitter or wherever. But that's it really, that's it from me. Thank you so much for tuning into the stream. Enjoy your weekend. Don't forget to like the stream before you go. Subscribe to the channel if you're not. But for now, it is a goodbye from me.